I think there are a lot of players out there that are struggling with some of the basics of ship control in Star Citizen, and they're making mistakes without even knowing that they're making mistakes. I think the biggest example of this are players that are using too many inputs at once, which I'm going to demonstrate in this video, and holding down W, or forward strafe if you're not using a mouse and keyboard. So if you watch the overlay here that I've installed on the lower right, I'm going to show you the wrong way to control your ship, and also what is most likely what the majority of players are still doing. So if you're flying forward, and then if you want to also go right, so you press your right strafe, this is basically a trichord, and trichording no longer works. What happens when you do this movement is the game limits your Gs. It actually hurts your performance to put these two inputs together at once. What you would want to do instead, especially if you're flying decoupled, which you should be flying decoupled by the way, is if you go W, so you're going forward here, you take your hand off of the W key, and now you add the right strafe. Can you see there how significant the difference in performance is? Perhaps you're asking, well then if I do that, I'm just going to go to the right direction instead of forward where I was going. Well, there's a way to do that. So if you're going forward here, and you want to shift to the right, the way to do it is to point the nose to the right, and then forward thrust. It is not to hold down W and then right strafe. You will get there less efficiently, slower, your performance is going to suck. Stop trichording. So let's say that you're in a dogfight here, and you're fighting this right here. We'll call this the enemy, alright? What a lot of players also do is when they go to the pass or they're approaching, they keep holding W. And then when they're about to pass it, they want to turn around, so they roll and do their turn pitch correctly, but they keep holding W. And they slingshot past the target. And we're going to keep doing that. We're going to keep doing what most players do. We're going to keep holding W. And we're going to keep slingshotting past the target. Not efficient. What you really want to do is make a deliberate movement. We get to the speed we want. We slow down a little bit. We turn. We let the drift carry us. And then we make these deliberate movements so that we can orbit our target and stay close. Now notice my keys. So every movement I make is a deliberate movement. By putting my thrust in one direction only, I'm getting the most performance out of the ship. If I was to do this again, or this, I'm actually getting less performance. And you can kind of tell if you watch it here how crappy this is compared to what I was doing before. So, we're going to say you're in a dogfight here. We're going to protect this immobile object platform, whatever it is a ship that we're trying to fight. So you're in a strafing area, you're doing your strafing, you're dancing, whatever you want to call it. Make sure the movements you make are deliberate. We get the most power out of these strafes and out of these deliberate movements. And it takes time, it takes practice. But the more you do it, and the more you practice, and the more you train your brain to stop pressing two inputs at once, the better you're going to be. And this is not a bug, this is by design. This is a trichord limiter. And this is why I tell people, always fly in decoupled. Because it lets you carry that momentum. Oh, and for God's sake, guys, when you're going past a target, stop doing this. Stop holding W as you turn around it. Look at that slingshot. Look how terrible that is. This is what it looks like every time you do this. You're like, oh my God, why am I jousting? Everybody's jousting. No, you're jousting too. Stop holding W. Stop holding W. Stop holding W.